Hello everyone at Acting Faith Bible Church. Glad to see you on video, and hopefully this is an encouragement to you as much as it is to us. This week I've been thinking about family worship. What does that mean? What does that look like? As I put a video together in the past days, I realized, hey, I'm not doing these things myself with our family and need to start implementing them better. We used to do some of these over the years, but as the boys have grown, as responsibilities have changed, these things have faded away. I'm sure that's true for some of you as well, that life changes and we forget about what our priorities were at first. Well, I want to encourage you to think about family worship during this time, a time that we're separated from our normal connections, our normal work, our normal responsibilities, and it's a great opportunity to reset and to think, what does God want from me? What does God want from my family as we move forward? And it can be a great new foundation that's built during this time apart from others. Well, I'd like to read to you today from Deuteronomy chapter 6. Now, you may wonder, why would I think all the way back to Deuteronomy? But as we read these words, it's a great reflection of what God's desire was for the family, both for Israel in the Old Testament and even now for us as we think about raising our children. Let's read this together. Deuteronomy 6, chapter 6. And these words that I commanded you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children. You shall talk about them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise. This passage is such a good reminder of God's desire for us as parents to take the word, the truth that we've heard from Him, and then impart it to our children. We want to read the word, believe the word, defend the word, live the word, teach the word, and expose our children to these things relentlessly. As we think about worship, often I think Sunday morning is the first thing that comes to mind. We think, okay, we're going to sing some songs, we're going to hear the pastor, we're going to be together with others. But all of these items of worship are there because they're included in what God's word says about worship. Reading God's word, prayer, hearing God's word, singing with one another, giving to one another, all of these things are worship. And we can incorporate many of them in our own families. I encourage you guys to think, what are you doing right now to worship together as a family? And what are some ways that you could do that as you move into the days ahead? Well, I'd like to encourage you to start with reading God's word together. This is something that, with little kids, it seems easy. You teach them as they grow up. It just falls away. The same has happened with us, and I've been lax on that. But we've been starting to reinstill reading God's word all together as a family and setting a specific time. We were somewhat sleeping in these last couple of weeks, but we're setting a set time in the morning to get up, to read God's word together, to pray together, and to get our day started with a focus on who God is and what He's doing both here and around the world. So for reading God's word, Colossians, the book of Colossians, is such a good place to start. It has such a focus on who Christ is, His preeminence in all these things, and even reflects on what it looks like as we're apart, longing to be together, and yet encouraging one another in a faraway distance. So read Colossians together. Maybe have your kids read just a section, 5 or 6 verses at a time, and then discuss that at your morning breakfast table. Such a great opportunity to lead them to learn yourselves and for your children to grow in their abilities to worship God. The second area would be prayer. We have a basket, just a little container that we keep cards in, and that's something as well that we used to do when the kids were little diligently, but as they've grown, that too has faded. We want to reintroduce that, and we've put that at our breakfast table, bringing out names of people in the church, the current prayer requests that we have, missionaries, whatever you might think of that you can pray for as we think of this world around us that's suffering with this epidemic. But it's an awesome opportunity for us to encourage our children to pray for other believers in the church and pray for those who need Christ as well. But write those names on those cards, bring them out each day, have each person pray. Nothing elaborate, just a good way to start teaching how to pray and how to bring these things before God on a regular basis. I encourage you guys to do that. I'm going to put something up online that has a list of all the people in church that are little cards that you can just cut out so you can pass those around the table and pray for one another as we're apart. Well, another way of worship is hearing God's word spoken. And I encourage you to get together with your family, with some others, and to listen to Wayne's sermon. The with others is going to be virtual at the moment, but sit down, have your camera on your phone or on your tablet, your laptop, bring some others into your living room and share listening to God's word with them, even though it's just virtual. It's really a lot of fun. And then you can take some time to pray together at the end. But come together, make listening to God's word a priority, and come together at the same time as the rest of us, and we can all be doing that together, worshiping God and hearing his word and reflecting on that on Sunday morning. Well, an area that our family loves to do in worship is sing. You've heard us play music, instruments all the time, but when you're at home, we haven't even been doing that in the same way that we do on a normal church, but it's great to bring a song out, something that you know, something familiar, and listen to it and sing it out that reflects back on God's word, reflects back on what you've been praying for, and encourages your family to sing. That's something God asks us to do. If we're filled with his spirit, we then sing in response and encourage one another through psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. I encourage you guys to try that, whether a cappella or we're listening to a video or singing along with us on Sunday morning through our video sermons. The Getty family, if you're interested in looking at a family who's worshiping together, they broadcast every Tuesday at I think 5:15 our time. But you can see them. Their girls are sitting around the piano, just little girls, and they're singing and singing hymns along with their parents. And it's just a great time of worship that you can join in with as a family as well. I encourage you to do that. I'll put the link also on the website so you can give that a look. Well, I think the fourth area of worship would be giving. At church, we normally think of giving of just the box in the back. How do we give? And as we're away from each other, it's hard to remember giving our finances and resources to God, but we have that opportunity to give online to the church, but also, how can we give to those around us when we're apart? Give someone a call, offer to get their groceries for them, see how you can help someone, pray with them over the phone or on video chat, and involve your lives in the lives of others, even while we're away. Give toward them, but in an act of worship, not just for small talk, but how can you encourage them to focus on God and to reflect back on him? Just a great, great opportunity to do that with all the time that we have on our hands. Well, as we consider worship, I hope those things are encouraging to you. They've really challenged me, challenged our family to get back into worshiping as a family and changing our schedule even to make sure that we have God as a focus and aren't just going about our day in our pajamas, which you can do these days, but instead going about your day with God on your mind, with prayer on your tongue, with his word in your heart, and with your family worshiping together. I hope you guys can do that, and we look forward to seeing you as soon as possible.